from Seoul, Korea, and welcome to the second half of today's GSL Team League matches. I am Tasteless, and with me is Artosis. Together with the Cassie and Archon Tastosis. And by the way, before we get started on talking about this Team League, I saw last night on YouTube the most hilarious video, that remix of the Eminem song about Hydra. I was actually laughing so hard. Thank you for whoever made that. Yeah. Now, on to these games that we're going to have here. I think this is a pretty lopsided matchup, Artosis. There's definitely a David versus Goliath matchup.
It is. But it's more like David versus two Goliaths matchup because Nesty and MVP, I mean, you may have one rocking that slingshot, David, but guess what? Even if you take down Nesty, MVP is standing there with his protective goggles on. You are not going to take him out with a slingshot.
I actually don't even forget about Seed. Yeah. Seed is actually like the new insane Protoss genius. I have never seen
pretty cool.
Back to back.
He's a pretty cool guy.
Awesome builds. I've just never seen that stuff before.
I am, with their high school football jackets on.
Got their letter jackets on. Lettered in Protoss.
Pushing lesser nerds into lockers.
What they got to do, man.
Dating the cheerleaders of Comp TV.
And over here we have our underdogs, ZeNEX. Now ZeNEX is actually originally comprised of two teams, the next team and ZeNEX. Yeah, they merged together to make ZeNEX. But I don't know, those two great teams coming together is enough to beat people like MVP. We have a shot of here, Nesty with his, what did you call them? His glasses, his protective eyewear.
He's got goggles on, man.
He has the...
so the slingshot can't take him out.
That's right.
Let's take a look, though, at our player lineups. We have I'm Junwei.
Nesty, champion of Season 2.
I'm MVP.
People say he's one of the best, actually, if not the best in the whole world. Seed, who actually doesn't, he stands very still.
I'm Younghwa. I'm Lucira. And I'm head coaching Neef.
Head coach of I am looking so solid. Now, you know, I got to mention this again. We haven't seen a lot of these guys on IM play. The three we have seen play, Nesty, MVP, and Seed, are out of this world good.
Well, we've seen Junwei play.
Oh, excuse me, Junwei as well.
And that wasn't so out of this world good.
But I'm curious about these other guys.
Yeah.
Now we go on to the team ZeNEX. We've seen almost all these guys in action, well, a good half of them, and they are very up and down.
They are up and down, and half of them were in the up and down matches, in fact.
Oh, well said.
Here they are. This is your ZeNEX team. Hey, Jun.
That's Byeon. Second place, Kode. Look, Jamun. Koka. That's Nuke. And, of course, there is the head coach of Team ZeNEX.
Tasteless.
Artosis.
That lineup. I just don't know if they can take out these monsters.
I don't know, man. MVP alone just doesn't lose games. I'm curious who they're going to bring out first. You know, if I was Team IM, I would actually bring out one of my weaker players.
Yeah, I'd bring out a guy that needs some experience.
If I was on Team IM, yeah.
Absolutely, because I can't see anyone on ZeNEX taking out Nesty and I'm MVP. Yeah. Maybe Byeon might be able to take out Nesty, but that's about it. Maybe. That's a maybe.
Maybe Byeon could.
But these guys are actually legendary. Look at this lineup. MVP, Nesty, Junwei, and Lucira. Not a whole lot of players in GSL, but absolutely insane players. Notice how Nesty has a little gaggle of lesser Zergs following him. They're learning from Nesty, living in the same house, practicing with him, and qualifying, whereas a lot of these teams don't have a lot of Zergs that are qualified.
Well, there's only a few people in the world that really understand Zerg. You know, you got people like Nesty, Hydra, Fruit Dealer.
Yeah, these are definitely the top three Zergs, I would say.
Easily. So you might as well just get a couple other Zergs on the team. It's not a very, probably the least popular race, so just get them on board and have Nesty teach them.
Yeah.
And you're going to have a pretty solid team.
Well, ZeNEX, we see they have a lot of players in it. They have Byeon, Kyric's son, Zenith, and Bonbons, and then Kode, Butterfly Effect, Koka, and Heijin. So a very solid team, but this is, even though it's a very solid team, it doesn't have a superstar. Byeon is trying to become that. Kyric's has been pretty decent, but really Byun is the closest one where you're like, okay, this guy can probably take games off these guys, but it's going to be hard against their best.
Yeah, well said, Artosis. Now, I don't know who they're going to pick first for ZeNEX. I don't actually know what the right player is.
Yeah, it's a hard one.
I literally have no clue.
Literally?
No clue who I would pick. I would actually just, make a wheel and spin it, a little arrow on it with their names, and just be like, all right, you're the one.
Well, I don't know. Maybe open up with Heijun again. He did a good job the other day. Maybe use
he's probably going to be feeling pretty confident.
Yeah. If he watches a better player than him lose, he might not be as confident. So maybe something like that.
We were sort of talking about this in between our break. What's so interesting about the Team League stuff is there's all these other strategies going on beyond StarCraft. Let's say you're up 3 wins and you're about to play your last game, or potentially last game. Do a proxy gate, and then have the next guy that comes in, tell him to macro hard. Let's wear this last guy out. Just like in baseball, there's a point in time where after, as you said, you throw enough pitches,
start fouling off.
Yeah.
Make him throw even more.
Get him tired. So lots of strategy involved in winning these team leagues. Really
of course,
cool.
I know that baseball fact not from watching baseball, but by watching an anime about baseball. Major, that's actually like the best anime ever.
Have you seen Akira?
I think so, like a long time
You would
ago.
know if you've seen it.
You actually have no idea how much anime I've seen, Tasteless. Stuff gets lost in there, man.
I used to watch so much anime when I was younger, but some of it's so bad. It's true.
You're losing fans, Tasteless.
It's true. It's true. A lot of it's pretty bad. Some of the really good ones are pretty good. Ghost in the Shell and stuff like that.
Yeah.
On to this game, though. I have no clue who they're going to pick. Again, I would bet we're going to see maybe Junwei going first for IM. I keep wanting to call IM.
I want to say
MVP.
they're not going to use Junwei.
You don't think so?
That's my gut feeling.
Let's see what happens here.
Let's see.
If
Tasteless.
not, there's plenty of other players in the team they could use.
Yeah.
I hope they use Seed.
I want to see Seed today. But I'm afraid, Tasteless, because IM is so good, they could just team kill ZeNEX, I feel. I feel there's 3 or 4 players on this team that have the potential of team killing.
Yeah.
Byun is going to have to play his best today. He's going to be a crucial player for ZeNEX.
Well, Byun is easily the best player on ZeNEX.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I can't compare Kyrix to him, really. Kyrix is too stylistic.
As far as I could tell, his best matchup is Terran versus Terran.
Seems that way.
And, I mean, they have MVP.
He's
it's like, well, that guy
big
4-0
Zergs as well.
Yeah.
He has. He's done some great TVZ action.
Yeah.
Plays long games in that. Does the mech into a billion barracks. Back it up with Marines type of play. And that can be pretty strong. So he would actually be a reasonably good first pick because the first map is always Shakura's Plateau.
Yeah.
He loves Shakura's Plateau. Like, ZeNEX Byung has dreams, and he's walking around on the map. All right.
Here is our player, Lucira.
This player, you might remember, TLO knocked him out in the first season of GSL. He's actually a very strong Zerg player. Used to be a StarCraft 1 pro. He was on Hwasong Oz, I believe it was, and his ID was Thunder Foyu. He was a Terran player in that game. Chose to play Zerg in this. And actually, I remember seeing him in Season 1, and I was like, I think this guy might be TLO. He's so good. And he's just gotten better and better. We're going to have to see chugging some Pepsi Nex, some delicious Pepsi Nex.
You guys come to the GOM studio, you can get free Pepsi products.
That's right.
Yum, yum, yum. And entry is free. We also do prize giveaways.
Unless our toast is at the door, then it costs $1.
Both these teams, pretty legendary. Oh, really interesting.
I like it. I like it. This map is his map. He's great on it. TVZ, remember, he
claims
said,
he's unbeatable.
He said he's unbeatable, and so far, he has been. But no one's unbeatable, Tasteless.
Nobody's
as
unbeatable.
July Zerg just showed us against Sun. So I'm excited. This is our 3rd Zerg that's gone out in the GSL Team League. We've had Check lose, July Zerg win. Can Lucira take down Byun on his self-proclaimed unbeatable map in TVZ? Well, that, Tasteless, is what we are all here to see. I'm sure it will be great.
It's going to be pretty sick. All right, so Byun against Lucira, I think this is a matchup that, at least for the start, is a little bit more even.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think Byun has the advantage here.
I mean, the thing
Lucira
about-
is very good, but Byun is solid.
The thing is that, people like MVP pull him out. It's like having Game Genie or something on your team. It's pretty hard to beat him. The countdown's begun, so let's get ready for our first game in the second half of today's Team League matches here at the semifinals. Over here in the red, we have our Zerg player from the team I am Ro4. Stands for Incredible Miracle. It's not just your average miracle.
Yeah.
It's quite above average. Over here, I believe the best player from this respective team, he is
ZeNEX Bjorn.
People excited about Bjorn.
Now, these are the positions that Bjorn wants to be in.
Yeah.
For the Bjorn build.
Yeah, I mean, he can do either, but this one, the push is going to be unbelievably strong through that back path in between the two bases. Ro4 is going to have to, be very careful about where he builds his tech, about expanding far away from his opponent, about counterattacks. Those are all very important things when fighting off a Terran in these positions. So we see scouting by Bjorn. Oh, no, never mind. Going to just make a barracks wall and probably open up with a couple barracks. Do some harassment, do some pressure, a little bit of pressure here, a little bit of pressure there, and go ahead and expand behind it. Very safe. That barracks walling can't really be banelinged very easily. Baneling, of course, being a verb in that sense.
Well done, Artosis. You're quite the master of language.
I am the master of language. Whenever I say, actually, this is like such an old school throwback, and the depot actually sees the Overlord, so he's not even trying to hide it. But I just want to point out that every time I say some ridiculous word that's not true, I think back to the DuckTales episode where the rich duck called up the dictionary company and had a word put in when someone told him it wasn't true. He paid money for it. And I don't know why I always think of that. I'm like, one day I will just make my words real.
You know what's so funny is DuckTales instills the worst values in children. It's imagine being so rich. Money makes you happy.
Now, something interesting is already going on. It's not going to be two barracks play. Bjorn has gotten his gas, and he's actually going for what looks like a Reaper opening. Now, Ro4 hasn't scouted the gas, but now he's scouted the add-on. I'm sure he's watched Bjorn's games. He knows what's going to go on. But Ro4 has opened with Zerglings and gas, which means that he's getting speed already. That Reaper is going to do less than nothing, Tasteless. If it even gets a full scout off, I would be surprised.
Hiding a drone over here. That'll be critical if you could spot that spot if it's going to be an expansion next. Usually if we see something like a tech lab first, it's pretty common for the Terran to then follow that up with a command center. And here we go. There's the command center.
And out comes the Reaper. In this case, you don't need to fear the Reaper.
The Reaper, it's so funny because in the beta, it was so used, they had to basically, because you could go to Reaper right away. Instantly.
Yeah. You could go Quick Reaper or you could go 5-Rax Reaper.
Yeah.
And the speed upgrade is just amazing.
Frustrating.
But nowadays, we've seen the speed upgrade used once. I think it was actually from Bjorn.
Oh, yeah, that's actually true.
And here comes Speedlings!
Nice.
Reaper is going to have to be very careful here. And Bjorn trying to tech up very quickly with very few units. Ro4 doing some great harassment with these Speedlings. Even if they don't do a lot of damage, they have done a great job. Kills the Reaper,
that changes everything.
Oh, man, Ro4.
Don't know about running those lings in there. He's going to continue to try to make these SCVs not mine. Kill him if he can.
Yeah, trying to pick off a few here and there. Of course, he's going to, actually, he's not making any units except that one Marine. I thought he would make a Hellion or something. But,
yeah, he's not even producing out of his barracks, actually.
Doesn't want to.
The economy
There's only one Marine left, so he'll be all right.
The economy's pretty screwed up right now for Terran. You could see he wanted to actually just get rid of that Zergling before he went ahead and teched.
Yeah.
And the Zergling is now just staying alive and scouting him.
Even if you see Zerglings like this that didn't do a whole lot of damage, yeah, they did some. Yeah, they slowed down the mining a little bit, but it gives the Zerg such peace of mind, and they know exactly what they can do. From here, Ro4 realizes, okay, there's a tech lab. It could be making Hellions with Blue Flame. He has one barracks. he can't really do anything to attack me properly. I can drone up, I can take another base, and that is exactly what he's doing. So even though he doesn't damage his opponent, the amount of information he gets is huge and very important.
So Zerg is going to go ahead and expand again, and that's probably the right thing to do. There's many options Zerg has to right now. They could attack rapidly, but you know, when you get a Terran, actually, if you guys, for educational purposes, if in general, if you get lings in your opponent's base early on, kill off workers, make the workers chase you can always expand again. It's just going to be safe. Their economy is going to be behind, excuse me. So that's what he's going to do in this case. It works.
And a 4th base going up for Lucira. I really like that. Byun even mentioned himself. We've seen him play TVZ on this map a ton of times, and we know that he loves 3-factoring into a bunch of barracks, pushing out with an insane force, but it takes a while to get that up. Byun even said in an interview that he realizes that people realize that now, so sometimes he mixes in some aggression, but Lucira is like, okay, Byun, I know what you're doing here, and he is going for 4 bases right now. Byun has absolutely nothing he can possibly attack with for quite some time. So Lucira is going to have this type of insane economy that just says, LOL, I don't really care what you do or what you make, because I am going to have everything I need to get rid of it. It's actually, he's getting a gigantic lead. He has 58 now drones against 39 SCVs, with the 4th base being made. It's an insane lead.
Now, he saw the 3rd base, but he doesn't know about the 4th. However, seeing that 3rd base can trigger aggression coming from the Terran. Now, if the Terran does decide to push, he's not going to push towards the expansion. He's going to go towards the Zerg's main in that small valley at the bottom part of the map.
Exactly what he's going to do, Tasteless. I hope that all the tech of Lucira, for Lucira's sake, is not built in his main base. He's already made his Ro4 at the natural.
But, you know, making that stuff at the natural doesn't really help that much. It's like, if you lose your main, you're going to lose your natural.
That's certainly true, but every second counts, because that normally turns into some sort of base trade or some sort of, I need to just make a few more units right now. So the few extra seconds certainly is something that he's going to want.
Now we have more and more mech units being produced. Byun has a reputation for doing this strategy, probably because he, you know, it's so well known, probably because he just boasted about how he can't be stopped doing it.
Yeah, and he's played this map a lot of times as well. And those Zerglings going to be turned around by 3 very angry siege tanks.
Honestly, it's going to be tough to call if the Zerg's going to lose his main or not. Because no matter how ahead the Zerg gets, Terran pushing through a valley, that's not what Zerg wants.
Yeah, no, I think Lucira, if he's smart, and I think he is, man, he's like playing just amazing decisions so far. I believe that he will sack the main and just counterattack. I mean, that's what you need to do. We've seen some Zerg start to figure that out. And he is even knocking down that little wall so that he can kind of harass the push as it comes. Now, Byun has already started his huge barracks migration.
Yeah, what he does is he tech switches and kind of mixes in the biological units, the Marines, the Marauders, kind of to bolster his tank Thor army. And actually, he's going to pure Marine all those reactors, indicate that. And as the Terran destroys these rocks that we have a bit shot of right now, he will expand in the valley that he's going to push, and that way he can actually attack and defend his new base at the same time. It's very smart.
Now notice the creep has already gone across it. It's made that smiley face at the bottom look like it has a little bit of acne.
Needs to wash his face. Smiley face space, the bottom center. You guys
now that's going to slow him down. He's going to have to use some scans or build some turrets to push through that creep so he can build things down there. Notice he is starting the command center. And Lucira is just creeping up the map really well. He's got 84 drones against 58 SCVs. That's basically all the drones you need, 84. His income is just phenomenal. He's looking just so handsome right now, Tasteless. What a handsome Zerg.
He's looking like a baller, man.
I love these Zergs stepping up when we have not seen many Zergs chosen to go out and just... He's playing to win. That's what he's doing, Tasteless.
Yeah.
He is not just playing a too safe or conservative game. It is safe, but he's really just making the moves. He's like, I need a gigantic economy. Scouts, he realizes, now's the time. Now's the time for a gigantic economy. And supply-wise right now, 184 for Lucira, 118 for Byun. That is the difference, Tasteless, when you can actually go 4 base so quickly. he's 84 drones. It's crazy.
Now, what are your thoughts? I'm curious with this because obviously you're the Zerg expert here. The upper left base, he is not actually mined with drones. He has one drone mining there for the first time.
Yeah, I think that this is very
he's
specific.
Basically saving that because he knows he's going to lose his base, so he says, all right, I'm going to switch to a base.
I think what he's doing exactly that, Tasteless. He's trying to mine out the main and natural as much as he can, get as many minerals out of there, and then transfer, because he's already got as many drones as he wants. 84 drones, that's a very good number.
Yeah.
You really don't want to hit half-supply drones, or you won't be able to kill anything. Now, it looks like Lucira is getting ready, Tasteless.
I don't know if he should actually attack.
Well, he's going to go anyways. He doesn't care what Tasteless wants.
I does not care what I think.
And that is a lot of banelings going down. Oh, my.
My God.
That is...
Well, talking about
still breaking through.
He actually managed to break through an angle that, the architecture of that ramp, you're actually not supposed to be able to get up that. You're supposed to wait for him to push out a little bit more. He's like, no, I'm just going to send everything at him.
There were so many siege tanks there, Tasteless, and so many banelings. But now the supply 161 against 111, so he's lost the supply lead he had, but he's killed the critical units. The Thors are gone, most of the tanks are gone, and that's going to greatly slow down this push by Bjorn.
Just like when you lose your Colossuses in a Protoss versus Zerg, it's pretty hard to recover from that. Same thing when you lose your tanks and Thors in this matchup.
Man. Hitting again, taking out more siege tanks, that's what he needs to do. These Marines are not going to be scary to him right now. He has roaches, he has baneling speed. It's the siege tanks and the Thors he needs to erase, and that is what he just keeps doing. 170 supply against 110. Lucira playing a beauteous game.
Beautiful creep tumor push. During that attack, he actually made yet another creep tumor.
Oh, man.
That was so smart. I did not expect Bjorn to get dominated so hard in this game.
No,
Bjorn can't even get a third base.
He's having such a hard time and finally pushing through a little bit, but will it be enough, Tasteless?
I don't know, man.
Tasteless.
This is getting pretty ugly.
Yeah,
and
look at Bjorn. He's stuck, man. And look at the mini-map. Close your eyes at everything else and look at the mini-map. Cover your hands up on the screen and just look at that beautifulness. We have overlords everywhere laying creep in half the places. He has every single thing on the screen scouted. He's flying around with mutas. He knows what's in the main base. He is on Bjorn like tape on something that tape is on.
There you go.
And look at this, just rolling through. Hey, bye, siege tanks. And suddenly Bjorn has to remake all his siege tanks again.
I don't think there's actually any way Bjorn can recover.
There isn't.
There's actually no way you can recover from this situation.
The economy and management of Lucira in the early game here has completely outclassed Bjorn in every single way. He has crushed through the predictable Bjorn strategy.
You know, what's funny about this is the Zerg is so ahead that the architecture of the map doesn't actually impact his decision-making. He just keeps making stuff and shoving it in front of the Terran.
Yeah. And there go the banelings up the ramp, and the Marines trying to stem and run away. And they do a decent job, but lose most of their number. And it is ownage time. Look at him dance. He's actually dancing.
He just runs out again. And he'll creep tumor push once again over that expansion.
Just put all his units on the dance command.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he did. The screen wasn't on, but that's okay.
Well, this is going to be a huge blow to the ego of the entire team, ZeNEX.
Yeah, no, that's their star player in his matchup that he thinks is unbeatable on his unbeatable map in good positions. It was predictable. And Lucira, the funny thing is, if Lucira had gone hatchery first, like everyone goes here, then it would have been a completely different game. Getting those speedlings in made a huge difference because Lucira knew he could just make drones and expansions. All that scouting did it for him, and look at this. Bjorn can't recover from it because after getting scouted, showing that he's doing the same thing he always does, he continues onwards with it.
Yeah, I mean, this is unbelievable. Oh, looks like he's going to manage to maybe land this for a little bit before he gets run over again.
Unfortunately for him, he's at a supply of 81 against 150. And that's a very small number compared to Lucira's. Lucira just, every time he sees siege tanks, he's like, I must kill these. He even hits him with banelings sometimes.
It's actually insane to see this much dominance. I'm sure you guys have experienced this yourselves when you play against a Zerg, for instance, that just never seems to run out of stuff. And you never really get to get out of your base or do anything, and it's quite a frustrating experience.
It is indeed, and you might wonder how, why, what? It's because you got a lot of drones early.
You got a lot of drones early, and then you should have been attacking him or doing some damage to him. And this is what happens.
And wow, this is pretty dirty. There's a ton of SCVs in there.
To Beyond's credit, he may actually complete that planetary fortress. And if the planetary fortress completes, the game will go on. That's if this planetary fortress does not finish, if he doesn't attack and takes it out. But frankly, there's really not a lot you can do against a planetary fortress.
Right now we have a counter of exactly 9 Zerglings. Fortunately, that is more than he can handle right there. Loses that bunker.
And now we have Mutas over here at the planetary fortress, taking out some SCVs. Now he knows that his opponent is basically trying to, duct tape his situation back together.
Yeah.
He has almost no units, so he wants to force stims.
He's going to need double-sided tape and super glue to even start.
Rubber cement and stuff.
Stuff smells terrible.
Oh, terrible
The
smell.
Mutas now, this is perfect switch into the Mutalist. Not as if it was completely needed, but he's going to go in here. He's going to do a lot of damage that Beyond just can't handle, man. What's he going to do? Run all his Marines down there? He doesn't have money for medevacs even.
Uh-oh.
I think the Planetary is going to be right-clicked on,
I was about to say that. He could just right-click on the planetary fortress and be like, I actually don't care about repair. And that's what he does. There you go. Okay.
Right-click.
And Ninja vanished.
GG. And the greatest player from ZeNEX, a very strong player indeed, taken out by Lucira, a.k.a. Thunder Foyu from StarCraft 1. Never Foyu in StarCraft 2.
Damn. The team IM is so solid looking. There's no player they pulled out where I'm like, oh, that's too bad. He's not the best on the team, but he'll do a good job. Actually, every single player they bring out is so intimidating. I did not anticipate one team in the GSL looking so frightening.
Well, to be honest, I think StarTale did that today as well.
StarTale did a pretty good job.
StarTale crushing through TSL as well.
To be honest, I'm a little bit more impressed with IM.
Yeah, well, IM
kind of outshines
has these scary juggernauts that you just don't know if anyone can even beat them. Can anyone beat Nestia MVP?
IM has some dude named Seed who just happens to be a crazy genius.
I know.
I was like, oh.
He's like wild cards.
Like if they had brought out like a Protoss player who just kind of played a solid game, and I'm like, oh, you're pretty good, man. I could see you practice against MVP a lot. I'm like, no, whoa, you actually understand the game way better than most of the Protosses, if not all the other Protosses I've seen. So.
And then, of course, the Game Genie, I'm MVP.
He's the Game Genie, man.
He is.
In fact, that's his nickname. I've just done it right there. He's the Game Genie Terran.
Because he cheats, man. He's too good.
You ever know a kid had actually used a Game Genie? And I'm like,
I never had a Game
what
Genie,
is
man.
the point of playing the game if you're cheating? MVP is like Game Genie. It's like, well, it's just like,
What's the point of playing versus MVP?
You're just going to lose.
Unless you're an ST. Because no one else seems to take games off him.
Yeah. So, they got Game Genie Terran over there. And, Nest T is basically just the most well-rounded Zerg in the world.
Nesty is the best Zerg in the world.
Yeah.
He's...
Yeah, it's a totally backable statement. Yeah.
It is. He's amazing. I love him.
I will marry him on a mountain.
We'll wear sailor uniforms. Why on a mountain, Tasteless? That's a dumb idea.
You have to have one of those hippie weddings where you have the, you stand in a lake. And hand him a goose egg or something like that while I play the lute. All right, let's watch this interview.
4강전 같은 경우는 일단 저그들이 이전에 많이 안 나왔거든요. GSTL에서. 그래서 여러분에게 YM팀은 강한 저그가 있는 팀이라는 인식을 가지고 있으니까 저그들의 활약을 보여드리기 위해서 준비를 했고 오늘 컨셉은 저그 컨셉으로 한번 가보겠습니다. 기대 많이 해주시고요. 응원 많이 해주십시오. 1경기가 중요하고 1경기를 저희 황광호 선수가 잡아낸다면 무난하게 한 4대1 정도? 4대1, 4대2에서 2선에서 끝날 것 같아요. 저그선에서 그냥 오늘 경기 끝나지 않을까 싶습니다. 결승도 마찬가지일 것 같고.
오늘 전략은 이제 거의 스나이핑 형식으로 이제 가게 될 것 같은데 IM 팀이 되게 강하니까 되게 힘든 경기가 될 것 같고 한 번에 이제 경기마다 솔직히 오늘 같은 경기는 이제 연승을 연승이 힘들 거라 생각하고 이제 1승 1승씩 챙겨 나가는 그런 식으로 나가게 됐습니다. 선수들이 이제 솔직히 자신들의 보통 연습할 때 실력만 충분히 발휘한다면 이제 뭐 IM 팀이라도 저희가 이길 수 있다고 생각합니다.
All right, I have two observations. First off, the ZeNEX coach looked like he was drinking out one of those twirly straws you can get at the carnival. Second off, I love the fact that IM is like, hey, everyone's upset that we haven't seen Zergs in the GSTL, really. Our Zerg players are going out today. So I have a guess that they're going to put out Junwi, I guess, maybe, out if Lucira loses, and of course Nesty is going to...
Well, it's smart. By the way, he did look like he was drinking out of a juice box. That's actually a very accurate observation. Yeah, I mean, really, IM should win this. I mean, if I had to...
They're using their Zergs, man. They're just like,
using their Zergs.
We have the
so
best
they're saying,
Zergs.
all right, let's give our players that might not be as good as MVP or Nesty, let's get them some exposure, some experience in the booth.
Yeah. You know,
It's
MVP
smart.
is so frightening that I wouldn't be surprised if they go like Lucira, Junwi, Nesty, I'm MVP.
Then Game Genie, yeah.
Yeah, and then the Game Genie.
The Game Genie
The
Terran.
cheat code. Like, you take out the Terran cartridge, and you put Game Genie, and you put the Terran cartridge back in, and MVP is like, what do you want to do? It's like, well, I want the Contra code, and I want invincibility, and I always want the Tanuki suit.
Yeah, got to get that one. So maybe we'll just see 3 Zergs in a row here. I wouldn't be surprised
Maybe.
if...
well, maybe we'll just see one Zerg knock everyone over.
Oh, no, yeah, that's
Lucira
true,
looked astoundingly good. I watched him play, actually, some at the qualifiers for Code, where he did qualify. Just such a good Zerg.
He was played that perfectly in that situation. Those positions are pretty tough.
Well, after
for
that
Zerg versus Terran.
scout, he knew. Third base, go up to an insane count of drones. Because literally, you have a tech lab barracks and a tech lab factory and nothing else even making. And I just killed 2 Marines and a Reaper.
Yeah.
You can make 1 trillion billion drones off of that. It's just, they aren't attacking you. Don't worry.
It's the truth. So here we go. Who are they going to pick? Kyrix. Well, that's
ZBZ.
That's a good pick. We're going to have a ZBZ.
That's a great pick. That's a great pick. Kyrix is actually a strong ZBZ player.
Yeah.
So this could be quite interesting.
Didn't expect to be cast in a Zerg vs. Zerg today.
I didn't expect that in the GSTL at all, man.
So this is going to be very cool.
Yeah, it's...
Kyrix, of course, had a big reputation around Season 2 of GSL.
Yeah.
He had his own unique style. A lot of people were saying, well, he's basically top 3 Zergs in the world. And then Kyrix, sort of got figured out.
He was too stylistic.
Yeah.
Being stylistic is awesome. To have your own style, your own general play style, your own general theme to your play, that's great. But if you actually do it every single game, unless your style is that of a perfect macro game,
yeah,
which is in theory the strongest way to ever play an economy-based RTS, then people will figure out and you will lose games. That's it. It's the end of the story, Tasteless.
That's it, man.
It's all over. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
I'm really curious about Zerg vs. Zerg with this because, we haven't seen a lot of Zerg vs. Zerg from these guys because this is actually the match we commentate the least.
Certainly. And
so we don't really, from watching these games here and all the GSLs we've done, we don't actually know exactly who has the best Zerg vs. Zerg or the worst.
Nesty has the best.
That's a
I'm
fair
just
statement.
going to fix that one. Metalopolis is going to be that. But that actually brings up an interesting point, Tasteless. Kyrix is really good ZBZ, so if he takes out Lucira, if they put out Nesty, I don't think we've ever seen him lose a ZBZ. He's actually basically invincible at it. He plays it on a level beyond anyone else's I've ever seen. So, that's almost like a free win,
The countdown's begun. We're going to get this first Zerg vs. Zerg in our GSL Team League match set up here. So get ready for some awesome Zerg vs. Zerg.